Cool.
Hello everyone, it's Yana here from ShaNaMetics, and today I have Andy Barlow. Hello Andy, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm still recovering from Christmas dinner. Lots of delicious food. My mom's cooking is just, so nice. How was your Christmas?
I didn't have family Christmas. I was more I cooked for myself this year.
All right.
Live alone, so I did myself a lovely roast, and then I just stuffed myself silly, and I thought, New Year diet.
Yeah, because Christmas is the only time of the year I allow myself to be unhealthy, and I want to enjoy carbs and sugar a bit more. So yeah, after the new year, I'm back to lifting weights and eating salads.
Yes, back to the old plant food.
Yeah. So Andy, tell us about yourself. What do you do?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
No.
Enjoying life.
No, what do I do? I basically go around the country teaching people how to be sovereign, how to escape the matrix, how to try and understand how they've been lied to all their lives, and just basically understand who they actually are. That's all I try to do at this moment in time. Plus heal as well. I'm trying to heal as many people as I possibly can as I go along.
Yeah. So how often do you travel around the country? How often do you receive invitations? Because you said people usually invite you.
Yes, I mean, I don't have the capacity to create events and organize events and everything, but I always leave that to people in their local areas. They know their area better. They know the awake pubs or awake venues. Sorry, I don't like the word awake, to be honest. I like the word aware.
Yes.
I keep using awake, but it's just
I like
the way everybody uses the word COVID. But yeah, I'll just leave it up to them to organise an event and say, look, get minimum 10, 20 people. Small events, not a problem as well. And I'll just wait for the invitation to go up, and then I'll just work around.
So someone so let's say I want to invite you to where I live, and I arrange a venue, and then I invite you, and pretty much that's it.
Yeah, I turn up, blow everybody's minds, and then I go again.
What about travel expenses? You know, if there's any entrance fee for the venue, for example, is this part of the deal?
What I say to people is I don't have set fees. I mean, a lot of people say I should. There are some on my website. If people want to follow them, that's fine. I always work on the basis of donations. Okay, so that's how I've worked for the last 8 months traveling the country. Okay. Some days I get nothing. Some days I get enough to keep me going for a couple of weeks. So it's down to the generosity of the people attending the meeting. If they think it's been worthwhile, then they should pay the workman for his hire. That's why I always look at it. Yeah. Well, I'm going to include your website at the bottom of the video, if that's okay with you. If people want. Thank you. It's very kind. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great. I think because one of the biggest problems that we're facing nowadays is the lack of knowledge. The problem is we don't know our rights. Excuse me. We don't know our rights. I mean, I had to educate myself for the last year and a bit. I've always known that there is something, well, not always, but maybe for the last 5-6 years, I've suspected that there is something wrong with the medical system. But the last year, and I don't know how long it's been, I've realized that there is something wrong with the system in general. And then I watched The Matrix for the first time this year, and it all clicked. The answer was in front of us the whole time. It has been. It always is. Everything runs on commerce. I mean, what makes me laugh about the new Matrix film? I've seen it. I've watched it three times now. We're watching it tomorrow, actually. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the irony on these people having to show their vaccine passports. I know. They took the blue pill. Yeah, I know. Well, there was someone posted something on Facebook that what was his name? Morpheus only had red pills left. Yeah. I wish I could give them away to people. Take red pills. I know we're going to talk about this tonight, but I will tell you the new Matrix film, you're going to have to watch it several times. There is so much in there what's going on at the moment.
All right.
So much terminology. The wording that's being used is exactly what they're using against us at the moment. So you'll enjoy it.
The new James Bond film is also a red-pilled film. I haven't seen it, but yeah, I think I'll watch
that's the next 6 months that's coming up.
Oh, right, okay. So, you know, I'm just curious to find out basic rights that everybody should know. Is there such thing as knowing your basic rights?
Yeah, of course there is.
So, because for example, I recently learned that if a police officer stops you somewhere, you don't have to tell them your name.
Nope.
Because if you tell them your name, you basically sign like a verbal contract with them.
What the police are trying to do is, first of all, you need to establish ground. Okay, so you're right if I take it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Explain more. Okay, so you're born. Okay, you're only supposed to answer to the Creator, your God, the universe, whatever your religious beliefs are, whatever. It's up to you who you respond to. Man and woman were created. Okay, we were never supposed to worship earthly kings, and we created earthly kings, i.e. government. And so they were supposed to serve us, but they turned it on us and we served them. So that's how they got around it. However, as a living man and woman, you have inherent inalienable rights. Okay, these are given to you by the law of the land, given to you by God, given to you by whichever your belief is. Excuse me. The main things to think about is always live your life by creating no harm, no loss. So if you don't harm anybody, and that's not just physical harm, that's being abusive, that's being bullying, that's all harm, and causing no loss, stealing, causing their car to be in an accident zone. If you live by those rules, that's common law, and that's the law that the Creator gave us: cause no harm, cause no loss, love thy neighbor, love thy Creator. But we have two realms, so there's two of you sat there right now. There's you as a living woman. There's also you as the dead person, the living entity, the dead corporation, whatever you want to call it. There's two of you. So when the police come up to you, they want to create what they call joinder. So they want to join with you and find out who your name is, so they can then use that to make money. So you always need to take what we call, let's put it this way. So if you're a living woman or a living man, you need to be classed as the creditor. The debtor is the public realm, the entity, your straw man, your birth certificate. So the police are coming in as the creditor and approaching you as the debtor. So you need to take back control. So the first thing you always do is always answer a question with a question. So if classic example, I got stopped on the M6 speeding. Some people may have heard this before. Got bombing down about 85 miles an hour, 11:30 at night, no traffic on the road. Road conditions are great, blue lights behind me. And I thought, oh, this is going to be interesting. Gets out of his car, comes along on the window, winds it down a little bit, and he said, "You were speeding." I went, "Prove it." And he went, "Excuse me?" I said, "Well, you've made a claim." I said, "Under maxims of law, he who makes a claim bears the burden of proof." I said, "So you've just made a claim, so please tell me how I, as a living man, was speeding. What is speeding?" And he said, "What's the road traffic act?" I said, "Well, that's not law, that's an act."
Yes.
And he saw, so I said to him, "Well, let's get to the point." Then he said, "Well, what's your name?" I said, "I'll get to that bit in a minute." I said, "Who are you?" And he went, "Well, I'm the police." I said, "That's a big statement to make. Have you got any evidence to prove that?" And he said, "Well, I'm in a police uniform. I'm driving a police car." I said, "Well, fine, but I could paint my car as looking at a police car if I want to." I said, "You're wearing a uniform that anybody can buy from a joke shop."
Yeah.
I said, "So show me the evidence who you are." So I was asking for his warrant card, which they have to carry with them if they're a police constable. If they haven't got it, they're not a policy enforcer. So that's when you sort of say, "Okay, I'm not saying any more." And they can arrest you, and they most probably will arrest you, because that is their right as a corporation. And that's where you say, "Okay, this is what I love this bit." You just say, "Yeah, it's fine. I'm more than happy to be arrested. under duress. However, here are my fee charges. because they're now commercing you. So they're creating contracts. And then you say, right, my fee is £10,000 an hour for every minute I'm held in custody. And so if you put handcuffs on me, that's battery and assault, that's £100,000, plus you'll be charged with kidnap as well. And they sort of look at you and they go, that's that.
Yeah.
But it's all about taking position and holding that position. If you can answer questions with questions and never give them a straight answer, you're going to win every battle. But if you do it with respect,
yes,
and treat that uniform as the man inside and treat him with love and respect, you get a really good outcome every time.
Yeah. You can't, you can't be nasty to them. I mean, because that actually makes you look bad.
Yeah. It's like commerce. The way the whole world runs on commerce, we know that. There's 4 ways you can handle a contract. So it's not paper contract, verbal contract, whatever. Classic ones at most. Oh, you need to come, if you're going to come back to it, you've got to have the jibber jab. Okay. So the first, a lot of people saying, well, you got
me on that one.
But the first one, you've got 2 honourable ways of handling commerce. You've got 2 dishonourable ways. Now, a lot of people are handling things very dishonourably at the moment. So the first one really is, okay, yes, I'll accept that. I'll take that and I'll come back to work. That's full acceptance of contract. Okay. Second one is, yeah, happy to have that, but I need answers to these questions first. So you're negotiating or conditional acceptance. The third one is where most people are at the moment, silence and silence. Like people get debt letters and they just stick it in the drawer and ignore it.
Yeah.
Worst thing you could ever do. Because silence is acquiescence, and acquiescence is acceptance of contract. So if you stay silent on something, they've got you. And the fourth one, the second dishonourable one, is a flat hard, nah, not doing it. Excuse me, go away. I'm not doing it. And you become belligerent, rude, or just straight flat no. So those are the main things in commerce. So we always need to be at that number 2. Always negotiating is commerce.
Well, we have been programmed to just accept it, haven't we?
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, just think about it. I've never realized how often we are told what to do. My father used to say this about the UK. You're told what to do everywhere you go. Because I live in London, so there's signs everywhere. If you want to go to, I don't know, Edgware, get on that platform. If you want to go to Greenwich, get on that platform. No one actually thinks. You just have to look for the sign.
Yeah.
Or you get your smartphone and it tells you where to go, what to do. We don't. Common sense is not very common, is it?
No, it's hibernating for most people.
It's a luxury.
Yeah. Well, you got to think of the word "you." I mean, think of it that way. You've got to look at the word magic as well, and everything they use against us. I mean, the word sheeple is actually in government documents. They use it against us. They know we're sheep. They know we will follow. So they use the word "you." So you must do this. You must do that. You is spelled E-W-E, as in female sheep.
Oh, right. I didn't know that.
So the word "you" is not Y-O-U, as you already think it is. E-W-E. So you.
Oh.
So that's how they treat us. And if someone says to you, "Oh, you're a human," oh, I'm not a human. Sorry, I'm not a human being. Never have been, never will be. Because human is not man or woman.
Yes, I understand what you mean. Yeah.
It all goes back to the schools. It's where it starts. It starts with the indoctrination camps there.
Yeah. I actually really want to talk about something specific, and that is taxes. That's why I contacted you actually, because I had a lady on my channel that I interviewed some time ago. She's a lawyer, and I asked her first, and she referred me to your Facebook page. So correct me if I'm wrong, but there isn't an actual law that says that we are legally required to pay any tax.
Correct.
So that comes down to the programming again. People think that if they pay tax, they're doing incredible good to the entire world. But the thing is, we don't need to pay tax. So how do we go around that? Because I know I follow a lady on Telegram, and she's teaching people how not to pay bills. That includes council tax. Because most people are afraid of the are they called debt collectors? Come knocking on the door. But the thing is, they have no power to do anything, do they?
The thing is, if going on to like things like direct debits and stuff like that and whatever, you've got to be very careful what you're doing on that part. You've got to be prepared to do what they're doing, because they will open a fraud case on you.
Okay.
And they will come back and ask for the money. So you've got to be prepared with the ammunition in hand and know all about equity law and the common law and everything else that's wrapped around it, and the banking notes. You've got to understand the Bank of England. You've got to understand the Bill of Exchange Act 1882. If you don't understand that, you're going to get yourself into a world of trouble and hurt.
Right. So basically, knowledge is power, big time.
Of course it is. Yeah. 100%.
Okay, so
the taxes.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people say you have to pay tax because you are dealing in the public. They're dealing with your birth name. So your birth name technically has to pay taxes. You as a living man or woman has no right to pay taxes. It's no law for that. So it's all about proving, for me at the moment, it's all about proving your life. You're alive, okay? Because if I stood in front of you and said, I'm alive, you as another woman could turn around and say, prove it. So how can you prove your life? So we've got to prove our life to go forward. So we can do that through proof of life forms, etc., etc. But taxes, if you're self-employed, they will always send you a statement, I believe. I mean, I've never been self-employed, so I don't know how it all works, but I discharge quite a lot of money for people. So that challenge is basically they're asking you to pay your tax, repay your tax, whatever they call it. Now, that tax has already been paid for. Everything is double dipped. So anything you're paying has already been paid for already. So all we do is we send them a promissory note. So self-employment is very easy to get rid of. Okay, so we send a promissory note through the using what we call postal mechanics, etc. Make it federal, and at the end of the day, that just goes away. So you never have to pay your self-assessment tax bill. PAYE is slightly more complicated, because each company that you work for follows Companies House regulations, and Companies House regulations state as an employee you are liable to pay tax at source. So your company will automatically deduct it. But you could ask your employer and say to them, look, I'm gone self-assessment now, so I'm requesting to stop taking tax at source, and I will do my tax bills every year. And they should allow you to do that. So you could technically create yourself a limited company if you wanted to in your name, and then you could become self-employed or and then you say, oh, I'm going to self-assess. If you go self-employed, they'll make that difficult for you, because obviously you don't have any of their benefits, so you don't have sick pay or whatever. But I would just turn around and say to people, I'm doing self-assessment tax for the next 4 or 5 years, and I need to ask you to stop taking tax at source, and I'll do my tax bill every year, please.
Yeah.
It's a request. You're offering them a contract. If they come back and say no, you can then go back to them with another letter or notice saying, well, please show me the law where it states I have to pay tax at source. So you can go down that road.
Yeah.
It's always better to start off nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Kill them with kindness, my father used to say. Because I'm seeing that people are so fed up with the system. They just don't want to be part of it anymore. They're looking for ways to escape the matrix. And one of the ways to escape the matrix is to stop paying into it. Because living in London is not easy to find local farmers. We rely on the supermarkets, unfortunately, but we are trying to buy from small businesses as much as we can. My Christmas presents this year and last year, all from small businesses. We go to a local butcher instead of buying meat from the supermarket. We're trying to support local more, but I am seeing online that more and more people are looking for ways to start their own business and support the local.
Yeah.
And I think this is definitely good, because in my opinion, in the next 5 to 10 years, it will be all about local communities rather than corporations. I don't know what you think.
We're never going to get to a proper community effect until everybody starts working together.
Yes.
That's the problem I see at the moment. There are too many groups, too many splinter groups, too many different areas all working on their own. How can you have community if not everybody's working together?
Yeah.
So I mean, like, you're in London, it's difficult to get land, it's difficult to grow your own food.
Yeah, yeah.
So why is there no community in Kent or Essex or Suffolk or somewhere like that growing food and bringing it into London for people like yourself? Why aren't we working together as one? We're spiritual. We should be connecting as one. We should be working as one, and we should be helping the whole community, not just us, but the people that are suffering from the jib jab as well.
Yeah, I remember when I was a child, because my family had been living off the land for generations. My grandfather used to exchange, so we had a lot of chickens, and our next door neighbor had cows, so they exchanged produce, and it was great.
Yeah. And that's a society I want to see back. I've been pushing it for about 2-3 years now. I linked in with a guy called Chris Crooks from Unsigned FM. We're using land up in Cumbria. At the moment, we've got growers growing up there at the moment. We're starting to build a community. But we're trying to get to people out there and say, look, you don't need money to survive. I mean, some of the things I've done on my talks, I've got a guy at the moment who's considering letting me do all his paperwork for his tax and everything if he repairs my car for me. So there'll be no exchange of funds, but that's how life should be. If I've got something I can help someone with and they've got a skill, then we should exchange. Energy exchange is what we should be doing.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's a lot of materialistic people out there.
I know.
A lot of people want the new Nike shoes, the newest Tesla or whatever. I think that's not going to help you when all the internet and everything gets cut off.
I was recent because I used to work in the city, and I was looking for. I've got lots of shoes. I don't need to tell you that. Lots of women love their shoes. And I was going through my wardrobe, and I'm thinking, do I really need to have so many pairs of shoes? Because my partner and I were talking about living off the grid within the next couple of years, and I think I will be more than happy with a pair of hiking boots and flip-flops.
Yeah, same.
And that's the other thing, we're not grounded because we always wear shoes, we always wear socks. If I ask some random person, when was the last time you walked barefoot on the grass, they'll be like, what are you talking about?
Are you mad? Yeah,
exactly. And that is the whole part of the programming. I'd like to, I know that more people are waking up, but it's also the social pressure of saying it. Is in, if saying to someone, oh, I walked barefoot in the grass yesterday and it was great. And people are afraid of judgment, of being judged.
Yeah. It's back to the old age adage. People like labels. They like to give labels to people. And that's one of my biggest pet hates. When people label each other. Yeah. Sorry. I mean, I learned a lot about grounding when I was out in New Zealand. I was walking on the beach in what they call over there, our flip-flops are called thongs.
Oh, right.
So I was walking in my thongs. And this big Maori fella was walking on the beach as well, a big chap. I walked, typical Westerner, moved aside because he had full facial tattoos. He looked quite ferocious. And I suddenly had him say, oi, oi, oi. And I looked at him and he said, come over here. I saw him across there. He said, why did you move away? I said, hey, I didn't know you. And then he said, well, I just want to talk to you. He said, get your thongs off. I said, why? He said, how can you connect to Mother Earth if your feet aren't touching the earth? And I went, I don't understand. This is when I didn't really understand about spirituality. I got to know him, and everywhere we went, we used to go to his family that weekends for barbecues. It was an amazing man, but he taught me so much about connecting to Mother Earth just through your feet. So everywhere we walked was barefoot. I still do it now. And people look at you.
I've noticed that I walk barefoot more often because I was I'm from Bulgaria, and during the summer it's very cold. So
Yeah.
we were told, 2-3 pairs of socks, slippers, the whole thing. And all last few months, I started to walk barefoot, and I feel so much better.
Yeah. I do it first thing in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I'm straight outside, feet on the ground, ground myself in the morning, out of the way. It's just a nice way to be. But when you think shoes were created to stop us grounding, and to teach us how to walk incorrectly, because we should always walk on our tippy toes, not on our heels. So everything's been played against us for so long.
No, I don't know if you've watched, and maybe you don't like this documentary, but what was it called? The Fall of the Cabal.
I haven't seen it. No, I haven't seen it.
So I think in The Fall of the Cabal, the sequel, she's talking about the history of the what are they called, the bad guys, let's just call it that way. And it's very interesting that it all started hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So our brainwashing had started generations ago.
Yeah, exactly. It's been indoctrinated for hundreds of years. I mean, have you seen that video, The Lost History of Earth?
No.
I'll send you the links. There's 4 parts to it at the moment. Well, basically, the first one is really the Lost History of Flat Earth. That riles a lot of people.
Yes, I know.
But it goes through the history, and it shows you that our history is only actually 200 years old. Everything else has been written as a lie. So, like the Second World War and all this, how it started, that's all been lies. I don't know, we know who started it. But the second one is what on earth happened. It asks questions of what happened to the so-called dinosaurs, what happened to this, what happened to that. And then he updated Lost History of Flat Earth 2.1 and 2.2, which shows undeniable facts about other things. I'll send you the links. They're really worth watching. He's on Telegram as well, so I'll send you the link to his Telegram channel.
Great, yeah.
He's an amazing documentary maker.
Well, I was recently doing a research on Stanley Kubrick. Have you seen
the man who filmed the moon landing?
Yes, yeah. Because when you said Flat Earth, that I thought of him straight away. And because I watched Eyes Wide Shut for the first time this year, that was a big red pill as well. And then I found a video where the guy breaks down the meaning of not every scene, but that part of the party in the palace, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it is fascinating again that the answer was in front of us the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, he died shortly after the film was released. Well, it wasn't a coincidence. I'm sure.
No, there are we all know as spiritual people, there are no such thing as coincidences. They happen for a reason. But everything that happens on this planet and everything that happens to us as humans, men, women, persons, whatever, is all put in offer, and sometimes you don't even see it.
Yeah.
Hidden in plain sight. When you think the news always tells lies, but the films tell the truth.
Yeah. Yes, I know.
So everything. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say I've started to realize this year. So there is TV series that I watched called Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
Everything it's reality.
Yeah. But what they're doing is they're telling you things that are going to happen way before they happen.
Yeah.
It could be years down the path. And then they got you because they say, well, we did tell you. We told you in 2011. I mean, 2011, Captain America, classic film there, was when they introduced coronavirus.
Yes. And I think that's part of their, because they believe in karma.
Yeah.
So basically they have to tell you. And because we have been so brainwashed, people will be like, oh, it's just a film, It doesn't mean anything. And look what's happening now.
The Marvel films, what's it, the Infinity Wars, I think it was, when he clicked his finger at the end and 50% of the world's population disappeared.
Yeah.
Duh, hello.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Yeah, we were watching what was it called? Wonder Woman 1984.
Okay,
I can't remember if I saw a lot of symbols, but I think I might be wrong, but the Wonder Woman logo, whatever it is, I think that is sort of M made, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think her outfit, I think her outfit is really, because the original Wonder Woman wasn't wearing a skirt, and she is wearing a skirt. So it makes me wonder, what's that about?
Yeah, I haven't seen that film, so I can't answer that one.
And also, what it's 1984, like the book.
Yeah.
So
that's a big link.
Yeah, that's a big link. Yeah, I actually never read the book. I don't think I have the stomach to read it. I know what the book is about, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to read it.
Things that I get a lot of my information from is films like They Live. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Okay.
That's back in 1985. I think that was Roddy Piper. He finds his pair of glasses, and everything he looks at is obey, comply, and all this lot. He takes them off, can't see them, then he can see aliens and all this lot, so he can see lizard-type creatures. There's so much out there that's, I say, so in your face.
Well,
a lot of people just go, what?
Yeah, I know. And the thing is, I was born during communism. I mean, I don't remember much of it, but my mom does. And when all this silliness, as I like to call it, began, and she said that this is exactly what it was like during communism.
Yeah. Well, we know who created communism.
Yes. Well, people think that democracy is, they all say, oh, we want democracy. Well, do we want democracy? Is democracy better? In my opinion, democracy is just another word for communism.
Yeah.
You rely on, I don't know how many MPs there are in the parliament to tell you how to live your life.
Democracy is another form of communism.
Yeah.
A lot of people, we're living in a democratic society.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You can live in a free society, which is you starting here.
Yeah.
Start with yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think that freedom, sovereignty, whatever you want to call it, is the only way for us to exist without without the parliament? Let's put it that way.
We don't need governments.
No.
We know. Why do we need someone to tell us what to do? I don't know if you've got children.
No.
Or young ones. So I shouldn't use that word children. That's a creature of statute. But if you tell a young one not to do something because it could harm them or harm themselves or harm you, you're making your own laws. You don't need a government to nanny sit you and say, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You need to take risks in life, and we are clever enough to understand the risks. I mean, if you stand on the edge of a 60-foot building, you think, I reckon I could land on my feet on there and I'll bounce. Then possibly you might, but most probably you won't. So it's how your brain works. But we need to realize how sovereign and how powerful we are. They have no authority over us.
No.
If you're a living man or woman, they have no authority on you whatsoever. Only you have authority on yourself. Not even your partner has authority over you. You are sovereign or sovereign. Sovereign is an overlord of being sovereign, and sovereign is more of an underling. So I class myself as sovereign because I rule myself.
Yeah.
I don't need anybody to tell me what to do. But a lot of people just need to understand it starts from within. You've got to start within your heart space. You've got to start believing in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, then you can't fight the war. Because how can you stand up in a battle and say, I'm sovereign, and then cower behind something, like unfortunately a lot of men are doing at the moment.
Yeah.
With the little man buns.
Yeah, I know.
Let's watch Netflix.
I know. I'm so, I often say to my partner, I'm so glad I'm in a relationship, otherwise I would die alone, because there aren't many, real men left out there.
No.
They're all wearing masks. Yeah.
They're all nappied. Yeah.
They're all nappied. Yeah. So the thing is, I've always, because part of my business plan is to educate people, but if people don't want to be educated, they will never know. You
can only sow a seed.
Yeah.
It's like the old age-old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink.
Yeah.
But if you can sow a little seed in someone's brain,
yeah,
and then they either walk away and they go, oh, actually, that does make sense. And they will nurture that, and it will grow, and they will do their own research. Or they'll just go, nah, and it'll just wither and die.
Yeah.
So it's down to the individual. If they've got the brain power and the cognitive understanding, they will go away and research it. But a lot of people, like when I go into the coffee shop, listen to the people talk. That's the only reason I go there, just listen to their conversation. And it's quite sad when you hear them, the cognitive dissonance that's going on. Oh, look at me, I've had my third booster.
Oh, I know. I had a Christmas card. So I exchanged Christmas cards with two ladies for years and years. And one of them sent me a Christmas card this year, and she started with the writing with, "I hope you are free from the C word." I'm not going to say it because this video goes on YouTube. And then she said, "I had my 3 boosters. I hope you had one. You had yours too." I was like, what? I'm never sending her a Christmas card again. I don't want to deal with these people. That's the other thing. I want to educate him, but at the same time, I just can't be bothered anymore.
No, and that's the issue. It's creating massive divide amongst all of us.
Well, that's the whole point. What was the saying? Divided. What was it? United we stand, divided we fall. And we're falling.
Yeah. I just look at it and say, well, there are aware people who've been jib-jabbed, and they are waking up to all this. They're going, hang on a minute. They told me if I had 2, I could go on holiday. Now I've got to have 3. Now I've got to have a 4th by April. Is this ever going to end? So a lot of people are now questioning it.
Well, it's part of the movie, in my opinion, to wake people up. Because otherwise, if we're not awake 99% or 99.9%, the government will continue to exist. And the only way for the government to disappear is people say no. Yeah, not having it.
I mean, it's like another thing that I've been researching a lot of. When you're born, the midwife takes a heel stick test from you. So they do put it in the sole of your foot, wording, and they put that DNA onto a card, and that card then goes off to the Vatican. So that sits in the Vatican. Now, if you've gone and had something that changes your DNA, how can you ever become a creditor?
Yeah.
You can't, because you can never prove you are that name on the birth certificate.
Yes.
And your DNA's changed.
Another thing that I've learned, because I wasn't born in the UK, so my birth certificate is not like the birth certificates in the UK, but what I've learned is, so when your name is spelled with capital letters, you're basically an institution, a corporation.
Corporation,
Yeah. So because United Kingdom is spelled with capital letters, so.
United Kingdom is a corporation. Great Britain's a corporation. England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland are corporations. They're all corporations. But you know what corporation means, don't you? It's 2 words.
I think so.
Corporate is 2 words: corp and arate.
Right.
So basically means dead man speaking.
Yeah. Well, I found a document. Can't remember how long ago. I found a document. According to this document, the Corporation of United Kingdom is bankrupt. Yes,
they all are.
Yeah.
That's why there's no such thing as money. Money doesn't exist.
I know money has no value. I don't know why people get so obsessed about it.
You can't pay debt with debt. That's what it is.
Because it's just paper. They're printing paper. That's all it is. And when you think about it, everything is online now, so you don't actually have access to money, physical money.
It's like mortgages, loans, all that. You never see the funds.
Yes.
Just the usual signature to make money.
Yeah, it's just number on your screen.
10 times over.
Right, Gary, I think we're it's been half an hour. Before I stop recording, I just want to sort of ask you to what would you want to say to people? How can we become sovereign again?
You are sovereign. That's the thing, but unfortunately they don't realize it because they are living as the entity, they're living as a corporation. Ideally, research the straw man. learn about the straw man, do some research yourself. I can teach people how to be sovereign. I can teach people how to stand in their own power and say, you have no authority.
Yeah.
I do it on a daily basis. But it has to start, you've got to go within. You've got to start looking inwards. I know a lot of people say, well, but you've got to start saying, who are you? That's the question you need to ask yourself first. Who are you? If they say, well, I'm Andy Barlow, well, then already you're giving the wrong answer, because you've just created a straw man again. You can turn and say, well, I'm Andy. That's all I am. That's who I go by.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to explain to a lot of people. So it's got to start from within, and you've got to believe in yourself that no one has authority. And that's a huge step to take, because a lot of people are fearful of authority, because they say, fearful of the police, fearful of debt collectors. They're just men and women in uniform. That's all they are. Talk to them, they go away. Deal with them properly, they'll never bother you again.
Yeah.
And hence the reason that's what I do. So if anybody, I say to people, if you're not sure, go through my website, message me, and I'll help you. It's not a problem. Or come to one of my talks. The events calendar is always on the website, so come to the talks and learn how to be sovereign. You need to start learning. The way I always look at it is, if you're watching this video today and you think, oh, I'd like to understand, you've got to say, okay, today is the first day I've come out the womb. I've got to unlearn everything I've learned and start again. And that is huge. Yeah,
yeah. I agree. Everything starts within. It does. It does. Yeah, our health is our responsibility. Our money is our responsibility. Our sovereignty is our responsibility.
Yeah, and if you can't take responsibility for your own actions, then you can't be, you're not really ready to be sovereign.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, I'm going to include, like I said, a link to your website.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy, very much for joining me today. And thank you to whoever was watching. Bye.
Oh, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Good day.